Hi everyone, my name's Errol Bailey. I'm going to be talking about the article Eating Christmas in the Kalahari by Richard Borshay Lee. I'll briefly summarize the article, explain the worldview, effects, and culture interpretations. For my summary, in Eating Christmas in the Kalahari, anthropologist Lee describes his experience living in the Jhuhasani, also known as the Kung people in the Kalahari Desert, wanting to do something generous, buys them a large ox to give to the community as a Christmas gift. From his perspective, this is a meaningful and generous gift, something he would do in his culture, but they didn't take it like that. Instead of thanking him, the villagers criticized the ox, calling it small, skinny, and very disappointing as a gift. Lee was confused and hurt by their reaction and assumes they were being ungrateful. Well, he was wrong. He learned that the reaction is intentional. The Kung people, is something they do is insult the meat, which is meant to prevent the pride and keep everyone socially equal and humble. The main idea of this article in this cultural behavior can look negative from the outside, like from me or you giving somebody a gift and they turn it down, or it's not big enough, or it's not expensive enough. Even they serve as an important purpose to their culture to do it that way. The worldview and culture meaning. The article really showed how worldview affects how we interpret meaning with different cultures. From the Western worldview, where a gift given is usually met with praise and appreciation, in Lee's culture, is thank you very much, all these different things as expected. But in the Kung people worldview, values humility and equality over individual recognition. So they're not going to recognize you for, oh, you did a good job on that, you did better than him. They don't work like that. Everybody's equal. Praising someone too much in their culture creates jealousy and social imbalance in their culture. So even through Lee and the villagers experienced the same event, they understood in completely different ways. It shows that the cultural meanings are learned differently, universal. Okay. One clear ethnocentric bias in the article is Lee's initial assumption that the villagers were rude and ungrateful, and they were not. He judged the behavior based on their own cultural standards instead of theirs. He was going off of what his people would do or the reactions from his people. Even though it shaped his worldview and his reaction, the highlights how ethnocentrism can happen unconsciously, especially when we expect others to know or follow our cultural rules. Once he understood the reasoning behind their behavior, he realized his judgment was biased by his own worldview. Challenging the idea of normal. The story challenges the idea that one's cultural values are normal or best. He originally believed that generosity should be rewarded with praise, which we all do in the United States. That's just how, that's with sports, that's in life, kids, everything. I know I do in my household. When the Kung people, it's more of modesty and social balance. So that shows that there is no wrong way of cultural practices. Everybody is different. There is no right or wrong. They just simply serve different. And it really does make you question. Me sitting here reading my notes, it really does make me question the cultural and the universal normals. Like, what is normal? Is there really a normal? Because there is no right or wrong. From my own point of view, like I just said, there is no right or wrong. But in my culture, a normal is tipping at a restaurant in the United States. Tipping is just a polite way of thanking somebody for their service in a restaurant. And not tipping, to me, the family where I came from and what I started off in hospitality, is very disrespectful. Where these people might see tipping as the weirdest thing ever, or disrespectful, or something they don't do. You know what I'm saying? For me, it has to happen. It's a normal for me. That's why it's hard to judge what religion you are, what culture you follow, all these different things. That's why it's hard to judge that. Cross practice communication is, we gotta learn to suspend judgment before reacting. Instead of assuming behavior is rude or wrong, it's important to ask questions and learn the cultural or religion these different people have, especially in school. My school is 60 to 80% Latino, and they do a lot of things that's different from us, or saying different words are disrespectful, all, different things. In this article, Lee just questioned the villagers' reactions. Instead of immediately feeling offended, he could have just asked, like, told him I don't understand, or tell him he had a misunderstanding of why it was asked that way. My experience with this is, I experienced a cultural misunderstanding with one of my friends who is Palestinian. They don't do things the way some things we don't do. There's not one God for them. God is not a human being. It's not a male or a female. And I was in a conversation with them about the Bible. Well, they don't have a Bible. They have something called a Quran. And things are the same, but it's different. Names are a little different. People are a little different. The way things happen are a little different. So it was very awakening for me as a Christian to learn what Muslims do. My conclusion, the most important thing I learned out of this article was, worldview strongly influences a lot of different things. Cultural misunderstanding is big, and caused by difference in values and not knowing the other people's differences. That means you should, taking this class is awesome, intercultural communication. You should move with curiosity, humility, and openness to learn about everything. There is no normal or feel normal. There is no normal. Everybody's different. So that concludes my video. Thank you very much, and everybody have a good day.